Welcome to June 17th, 2023, and this is Angel Update. I'm your host, Adria Estribou, and our guests, our speakers today, Angels Ariel and Raphael, and they'll let you know when they come through. I'm a conscious channel, as most of you know if you've tuned in here. And we'll begin another wild and wonderful experiment of not knowing what the angels have for us today. And thank you for joining in. This is Angel Ariel. So we'll speak today a little bit about change. Many people around the world are focused on change just now, although it's interesting to see the lens with which people will, perhaps the perspective of some is that the change has gone beyond the point of no return in a negative sense for some issue that they value, that they have focus on. For others, there is societal change, both welcome and unwelcome, again depending on point of view. And we come to you to speak about humanity's change. Most often that's what we're speaking about these days, because it is what's going on, although you must remember that within that you have the narrative of your own life story and the big picture of humankind as well. And somewhere in there is the navigation point that you're most comfortable with. Is it the crowd? What's happening with the crowd? Is it the biology? What's happening with the human systems? Is it the spiritual adeptness or growth options that are open now? So each person has different vantage points into change right now. At the same time, many people are speaking about change as if it is ever more rapid or ever more apparent. And this, we would say, is the case. Although if you looked back by any historic measure, 4 or 5 decades, much has shifted in terms of voting rights or economy or whatever you might like to focus on, planetary ecosystems. Much has changed. And yet there is a palpable acceleration. Many of you might feel this sense of jumpstart of late, that it doesn't require very much of you to branch off in a whole new direction, but almost like a rocket ship instead of a tree branch. So the velocity is different. It's a different speed than most of you are accustomed to here. And is that good or not good? We cannot really say. It's neutral from angelic, but we could tell you that palpably things are moving faster. So if there's a change you want in your life expression or the inner parts of you, the perception of life or reality, historic truth, whatever it is that you want to break through and change, whatever you're putting your focus to, it's going to happen more rapidly now. So the beautiful part of the individual expression within the collective of humankind is that you can harness the energies that are available to all in your own unique fashion. So if there's a lot of noise, a lot of chatter around something that's not of interest to you, we'd suggest notice this theme of change, how many people are speaking about change right now. And that's the part where you can find your own truth there. What is it that I want to change for the good, or the more pleasant, or the more lovely, or the more nuanced within my own life expression? And am I interested in influencing societal change or global change, intergalactic change, any of those? We don't say that an individual life is smaller than an intergalactic life. It's just a choice point there for each of you. So wherever it is that you like to focus, you will find much more rapid abilities towards shift right now. So we have mentioned this a few times in the last 4 days, that the next 6 months will be the most willing, let's say, in terms of universal response. We don't mean everyone will respond favorably, but the universe itself has a sort of favorable climate right now towards yourselves and change. The next 6 months will be perhaps the most favorable in your life. Doesn't mean there won't be favorable upturns, pleasant leanings at any future, or that there have not been extraordinary openings in your past. We mention that to say, if you fell a little bit into any kind of gloom or inert state based on giving up for a while, not for lack of trying, but giving up for a while because conditions were not so right, you might consider trying again. Old topics or new topics, up to you, because these are extraordinarily favorable times for humankind, for the growth of potential, for the change of circumstance, global, collective, tribal, individual, all of those layers, and for your own shift and change, metamorphosis of different kind. Whatever it is you want more of or less of, or just change the channel entirely, now is the time to go about that with a sense of ease and wonder that it may at last come to pass, perhaps more extraordinarily and more quickly, rapidly than you ever thought. So if we're not here to remind you because you haven't tuned in every month, or the themes shift here, we'd suggest write on the bottom of your calendar for each month, whether it's paper or electronic or in your mind. What is it this month that I want to really go for? Not in terms of effort necessarily, but in terms of dream work, let's call it. Daydreaming about, imagining, getting clear on what it is you want. That's really the important step here in these 6 months, is to get very clear on some things that you want to shift. Again, they may be very old, calcified things that you've given up on, and they may be new nuances, whims, anything like that. So just check in with yourself, because part of the change is your wishes may have changed. What you wanted last year or for the past 20 years may not resonate, may no longer ring true for you. So do that step of checking in with yourself right now. If I'm honest with myself, if I can really have this, so it's not a story of suffering because I can't have, if I can really have this, is this what I want? Because you have a lot of clarity right now to call towards you those things that you want and can have now. So the effort here maybe is more like the spider with winning with her beautiful web, those things that come towards, and then she's ready to catch them. It's not so much like the effort of a jaguar hunter, so much outward push and stamina required. And yet it's active. Spider is very active, right? The wind comes or a person comes and the whole web gets knocked away, but you don't see the spider ceasing in that certainty. Nope. Here the dinner comes right now. I better be ready to catch. Good. So even if you feel tired, a bit put upon, solar energies are high or pollution is high or whatever might be, causing a bit of a drag some days on your system, or the very response to so much rapid metamorphosis. The clarity of what you want. So even, let's say, you're feeling very put upon by so much light, so much energies, and you're just lying there on your couch looking at the ceiling or not much of anything at all. Just softly come to that clarity. Okay, what is it? Things have changed. I've changed. What's the script I would write for myself right now in the most wonderful world? And remember not to plan so much put so much effort into the reliability of the backup plan. It's time to spend a few more moments on the ultimate joy, or the best case scenario that's beyond what you might think as probable. That has a clearer energy to it, not because it's not probable, but because it's what you actually want. So when things are well within the probable, let's say you want a cheese sandwich for lunch, and you just go to the store and buy those things, or go out to the restaurant. It's no big deal. You don't tend to celebrate the coming of those wishes. Nice to focus on some other things you want as well. That's not just about personal effort, walking the steps to the store and so on. Let the magic in here a little, because in these 6 months, the universe is highly, highly favorable to what you want. It's just not so locked in. So if we can take a wider view in terms of time frame here, you came out of rigid, solid structure that you've been in, at least as your environment for all of your life up to a few years ago, and then released from that into what felt, in contrast, like chaos. And now is the time of, after that shock of adjusting to the limitlessness that can feel like a chaotic free floating, now is that harnessing the flight, really, the rapid fluid movement from one thing or one place and one way of being to another. So this is the time of zooming around and enjoying the change. And then, yes, there will become a time that we would say the time after this, so that you don't have to feel fear of, I better build up all the positive experiences for 6 months because we're headed for another nightmare. No, we don't see that, but we do see a bit of a lull, a bit of a hush, like settling down to enjoy the good wishes, or that quiet you feel after eating such a delicious meal and you just want to sit and take it in, literally. You're digesting it, right? So we do see a quieter period coming after this that feels like peace and satisfaction for the most part. Perhaps not quite as fluid, not quite as rapid in terms of change movements. This is Angel Raphael. This expression, too good to be true, does not apply to this time in your season in your life. From angelic view here, too good is not really a word. It's just, some people like their rooms painted red, some like them painted blue, or their cars, or their fingernails, whatever it is. Neither is too good or too precious. It's just what you want. What's the flavor? What's the nuance? What are you interested in sharing, experiencing, growing into, learning, having, holding, all of those things? You make the truth. You script the truth. So especially now, the season of wide enjoyment, it's the time for that. This is Adria, so I think we're having short and sweet today. I'm getting a cue from the angels to wrap up. So, what a powerful message. Good. I hope you all enjoy your wishes. And I think it might not be up on the website yet, but the angels usually give the themes in advance to me here, and it does look very, very positive for our transmissions and play shops coming up for the next month. I believe the next theme is what your heart wants, your heart gets, something like that. So enjoy. Please just be in love with this time in your life, and send me all the good stories. Love to hear. See you next month or next week if you're jumping on something on the website. Lots of love to all of you.